At St. Michael's Secondary School, the ghost of Sisi Koi Koi, a vengeful spirit in the Red Hills, haunts students who dare to disrespect the past. But when Efe, a new student, arrives, she uncovers a dark family secret that binds her fate to the terrifying legend. So let's watch together. Thank you. Beautiful African taste for your enjoyment.
The haunting of Sisi Koi Koi at Idanre Hills. At St. Michael's Secondary School, Sisi Koi Koi, the ghost of a wronged teacher, returns to haunt a new generation of students. For 3 school terms, she lurks in the shadows, her high heels clicking through the halls, preying on those who dare to cross her. But when a new student, Efe, is drawn into the nightmare by a dark family secret, she must face the terrifying truth that Sisi Koi Koi is back for vengeance. And this time, the curse runs deeper than anyone imagined. Efe's first term at St. Michael's Secondary School started with an unsettling feeling in her chest. The sprawling school, set against the backdrop of the eerie Idanre Hills, felt more like a trap than a fresh beginning. The whispers of Sisi Koi Koi, a ghostly figure from school legends, were brushed off as just that. Stories to scare the new students, but the reality was far more sinister. From our very first day, if it felt as though she was being watched, her visions of Sisi Koi Koi, which began before she even stepped foot on campus, grew stronger each night. Every dream was the same: a long hallway, the clicking sound of high heels echoing off the walls, and a woman in red with piercing red eyes. The dreams became more vivid as the days passed, and Efe struggled to focus in class. One night, she woke up drenched in sweat, heart pounding in her chest. In her dream, Sisi Koi Koi had stood over her bed, her voice whispering the same chilling words: "Your mother never learned, will you?" It was then that Efe realized her connection to this ghost ran deeper than mere coincidence. Her mother, Ada, had attended this very school and had once wronged Sisi Koi Koi when she was a teacher. The curse that haunted St. Michael's was now Efe's burden to carry. As the term progressed, other students began experiencing strange occurrences. Footsteps echoed in empty corridors. Late at night, objects were moved on their own. A few students even claimed to have seen the ghostly figure of a woman in red walking the halls. The rumors spread like wildfire, but the school principal, Mr. Adebanjo, dismissed them all as nonsense. There is no such thing as ghosts, he insisted in a meeting with concerned parents. These stories are the product of overactive imaginations, but the students knew better. During a particular 10th week, Tunde, a notorious troublemaker, vanished from the school for 3 days. When he returned, it was the shadow of his former self, quiet and withdrawn. He refused to talk about where he had been, but the other students whispered that he had seen Sisi Koi Koi and that she had taught him a lesson he would never forget. His reputation as the school bully quickly crumbled, and he became a warning to others. Do not cross Sisi Koi Koi. For Efe, the first time was a nightmare she couldn't escape. She couldn't tell anyone about her dreams or the visions she saw during the day, afraid they would think she was crazy. But deep down, she knew that Sisi Koi Koi was real and she was coming for her. When the second term began, Efe hoped for a fresh start. She started to bury her fear, but the haunting presence of Sisi Koi Koi continued to grow. Her mother, Ada, had become increasingly paranoid, calling Efe almost every night to warn her, stay away from the halls at night. Ada would whisper over the phone, "Whatever you do, don't look her in the eyes." Efe soon found out that the curse wasn't just something she could avoid. During a class one afternoon, She caught a glimpse of something out of the corner of her eyes. There, standing outside the classroom, was Sisi Koi Koi, her red eyes burning into Efe's soul. Efe froze, her heart racing. The figure vanished in an instant, but the message was clear: she couldn't escape. To make matters worse, a new group of students started talking about strange dreams they were having. Dreams of a woman in red, her high heels echoing in the distance. Efe listened in silence, terrified that Sisi Koi Koi was spreading her curse further. But why? What did she want? The vision soon became a shared nightmare. Students would wake up screaming in the middle of the night, claiming they had seen Sisi Koi Koi walking through the dorms. One night, Efe found herself unable to sleep, a feeling of dread washing over her. She glanced at the clock, 3:15 a.m. The air in her dorm room felt thick and suffocating, and then she heard it, the unmistakable sound of heels clicking against the floor. Her blood ran cold. Slowly, she sat up in bed, her heart pounding in her chest as the sound grew louder, closer. She wasn't the only one awake. Across the room, her roommate, Bola, was staring wide-eyed at the door, trembling. The sound stopped just outside their door. There was a long pause before the doorknob began to turn, slowly and deliberately. Efe held her breath, her mind racing. The door opened a crack, but no one entered. The heels clicked once more, then silence. It was as though Sisi Koi Koi had come to warn them. The following morning, Efe found it impossible to focus during class. She knew Sisi Koi Koi was getting closer, and no one else seemed to have the answers. The school continued to deny the existence of anything paranormal. Principal Adebanjo remained firm in his disbelief, even after several teachers reported seeing strange things. There is no ghost here. Students need to focus on their studies, not these baseless rumors, he insisted. But by mid-second term, the students knew better. Sisi Koi Koi's hunting intensified. One day, an incident involving a notorious troublemaker, Kelvin, shocked the entire school. Known for his disrespect and bullying, Kelvin had been fearless in taunting the idea of Sisi Koi Koi. He mocked the ghost, openly daring her to show herself. That same night, students in the boys' dormitory were awakened by Kelvin's screams. He was found in the school's courtyard, completely terrified, mumbling incoherently about Sisi Koi Koi. His friends claimed that he had gone out on a dare to explore the school after dark, challenging the ghost. But whatever he saw out there left him a shell of the person he used to be. He refused to speak about it, but withdrew from the school soon after. His departure was yet another warning. Sisi Koi Koi did not take kindly to disrespect. Efe, who had been quietly watching all of this unfold, knew she had to uncover the truth about her mother's connection to Sisi Koi Koi. After much hesitation, she confronted Ada over the phone. Her mother finally revealed the full story. During her time at the school, Ada and a group of students had wrongfully accused the teacher of theft, humiliating her publicly. The teacher, who had always worn red heels, was dismissed from the school in disgrace. Heartbroken and unable to bear the shame, she died in an accident shortly after, but not before vowing revenge on those who wronged her. And now, decades later, her spirit had returned to torment the daughters and sons of those students. Sisi Koi Koi's vengeance was relentless, and Efe realized she was next in line. The third term was marked by an atmosphere of dread. The students had learned to live with the terror of Sisi Koi Koi. Some claimed that if you remained respectful and kept your head down, the ghost would leave you alone. But Efe knew it wasn't that simple. She could feel the ghost's anger growing, her presence becoming pronounced. One afternoon, during a school assembly, Principal Adebanjo made yet another statement, denying the paranormal rumor, but even his voice faltered. The incidents were becoming too frequent to ignore, and many teachers were considering transferring out. The walls of the school echoed with tension, and no one felt safe. Efe's nightmares intensified, and the visions became unbearable. In one particularly horrifying dream, she saw herself standing in the center of the school courtyard, surrounded by fire, with Sisi Koi Koi advancing toward her. "Your mother never paid for her sins," the ghost whispered, "but you will." The final straw came when Efe discovered a letter hidden in her mother's belongings, written by Sisi Koi Koi before her death. It was addressed to the students of the school, warning that her spirit would never rest until justice was served. Efe knew what she had to do. She had to confront the ghost head-on, find a way to atone for her mother's mistake, or risk being consumed by the curse. On the last night of the term, Ife went to the old part of the school, the place where Sisi Koi Koi had died, armed with her mother's letter and a resolve she didn't know she had. She waited. The air grew cold, and then she heard it, the familiar sound of high heels clicking. Sisi Koi Koi appeared, her red dress flowing like blood, her eyes burning with rage. "I know why you've come," Ife said, her voice shaking but firm. "But this needs to end." For a moment, the ghost hesitated, as if considering Ife's words, but the anger was too great, the pain too deep. Sisi Koi Koi lunged forward, and Ife braced herself for the worst. But just as the ghost was about to strike, something changed. The wind picked up, and the spirit of the teacher seemed to flicker. Ife realized that the letter, her mother's final apology, was the key. "I'm sorry," Ife whispered, holding out the letter. "She's sorry." The ghost paused, reading the words on the page. Slowly, the red fire in her eyes dimmed, and the clicking of her heels softened. For the first time in decades, Sisi Koi Koi seemed at peace. With one final glance at Ife, she vanished into the night, leaving the school in silence. The curse was broken, and the haunting of St. Michael's Secondary School came to an end. But the legend of Sisi Koi Koi lived on, a reminder of the consequences of betrayal and the importance of making amends before it is too late. The story of Sisi Koi Koi's vengeance spanned 3 terms of terror, but it ultimately taught the students of St. Michael's a valuable lesson about the power of guilt, respect, and the price of wrongdoing. Through Efe's courage and her mother's apology, the curse was lifted, but the legend of Sisi Koi Koi would never truly fade. Her stories remained a cautionary tale, passed down from one generation of students to the next, a warning to always treat others with respect, lest they become the next target of the ghost in red heels.
I kindly plead with our first-time viewers to kindly subscribe to our channel. And to our dearest subscribers, thank you for joining us again. Please help to like, drop a comment, and click on the notification bell to always get our new videos. Thank you.